Okay. So let's continue from where we stopped. So let me share the screen. Okay, let me go back there. So can you see the screen now? Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see it, sir.
Okay, good. So let's continue. So can you see that? So we have my name is equal to Kolawole. Now print my name. So it's going to print what we have there. Good. So that means it's going to see this thing as a variable. It will now check, has that variable been defined? Yes. So then it's going to be Kolawole. Now let's observe something. If I say my name, the same thing. If I say my name, I want you to observe something here. If I say my name is equal to read one. What do you, so now I want to print my name. What do you think that is going to print? Emmanuel.
Sorry, so ask a question again, sir.
Look at this. Can you see?
Yes, I can see, sir.
What do you think that will be printed here?
It will print Kolawole read one.
No. Why?
Sir?
Why will it print Kolawole read one?
Because my name is actually a variable and is housing Kolawole and read one. There's no distinct. Oh, sorry. I just saw it well.
Aha.
Sorry. One of the name is in capital letter.
Good. Exactly. That is what I want you to see. Don't forget that Python is case sensitive. Are you with me? Now, for instance, if I say, let me remove my, if I say name and capital N, name, they are not the same, okay?
Yes, sir.
So Python is case sensitive, so they are not the same. So if I run it now, this one will be Kolawole, but if I change this to capital N, it's going to be read one. So please take note of that, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, so let's now discuss something. Let's talk about comment in Python. Comment in Python. So in Jupyter Notebook, I don't know if you have done this kind of thing before. If you want to insert another cell, you come to insert, either above that cell or below it. So me, I want it below. So then it's going to generate another cell for you. Are you there?
Yes, sir. Good, sir.
Now I want to discuss comment in Python. So if I want to discuss comment in Python now, but look at this place, look at this cell. I want to write it as a title, this comment, I want to write it as a title. So after you might have written anything here with this hashtag, you now come here. Can you see that I have code here? That means by default, all the cells, they are on the code. They are on code by default. I can change it. Just come here. I want to change this one to markdown. Can you see the changes?
Yes, sir.
So then I will run it now. Then it's going to give me something like a title. So that means I want to discuss about comments. So I can write it as a title. Why? It's just like maybe I want to give my code to somebody else to read later. So every line, the person will know what I'm doing. But the person will have the knowledge of what I want to do before the person will get there. So for instance now,
yes.
So whenever we are talking about comment is just like when you are talking about documentation. Maybe you want to document all your work. So you now want people to see what you have done. But how will you implement that? If I run this thing now, Emmanuel, you know everything will be printed. Is that not true?
Yes, sir.
But let's assume I don't want the first one to be printed. I will put hashtag there. If I don't want the second one to be printed, I will put hashtag there. So if I run it now, then only the last two will be printed. In fact, if I like, I can change this one. I say, okay, I don't want the last and the first to be printed, only the middle one. So let me run that. Well, let me change this one to capital N so as for us to see what is going on. If I run it now, only the two at the middle will be printed. That means this hashtag, that is what will help us to have what we call comments. So that means I don't want this code to be executed. I don't want the interpreter to see it as a code to execute. Instead, I want the interpreter to see it as a comment. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
So now, but let me now say something. Let me tell you something. Imagine maybe I have many things to write. For instance, maybe here I want to talk about addition of two numbers. Now, here I want to say this is addition of two numbers. This addition of two numbers. That means I'm trying to document my work. I'm trying to tell those people that will check my code later what I want to work on here. That is, I want to work on addition of two numbers. When next I want to talk about function, I will write, I want to work about function. If it is for loop or while loop, anything, I will put it there. I'm trying to work on control statements, conditional statement, all those things. So it is just like I'm trying to tell my readers, for, are you with me?
Yes, I'm with you, sir.
So it's just like I'm trying to tell people what I am going to do next. So now, imagine if I want to comment many lines. Imagine if I want to say, okay, this is my coding academy. This is my coding academy. Maybe I want to write something like, you are all welcome. You are all welcome. This thing, if you run it, it's going to generate error, definitely. Can you see? Invalid syntax. But mind you, I still want this thing to be there. Imagine if I say print, this is very cool. So at least if the interpreter will not see this thing as a code to be executed, at least it's supposed to print the last line. But once we are having once we're having error in a single line before this one, it will definitely not going to be printed. So let me say, you are welcome. You will all enjoy this class. Now, look at this. All these green words, they are special keywords in Python. We have many of them. So those special keywords, we cannot use them as a variable. Don't worry, we still get to that. But firstly, I want this thing to be as part of my code. I want people to be able to see this code. And at the same time, I want this thing to be executed. So what can I do? Instead of me to write this thing like this, of course, this one way, I can do it in this way, and it will be printed. Very fine. But are you with me?
Yes, sir.
But instead of doing that, I can use inverted comma, that is triple quotation, something like this. So we use triple quotation from the start and at the end. So that means when you have this thing like this, you can also comment your code like this. So if I run this one now, wow, this is very cool. I can say this is very cool again. Let me make changes. If I run it now, it's going to give me this is very cool again. That means,
but sir,
yes.
Sir, I have a problem. I don't know, on some other IDs, I guess like PyCharm or Visual Studio. I can't remember which one in particular. One of them doesn't accept these three quotations as comments.
As comments.
Yes, sir.
Well, okay, let me share you something. Have you ever worked on Django before?
I started, but I didn't do anything meaningful. I didn't do anything meaningful on it.
Okay. So in order to answer your question, let me quickly share you. Let me open one of my projects on Django. Let me quickly open it. Okay. CMG, code dots. So open with Visual Studio Code. So actually, I get your point. There are some IDEs that they do restrict some things. For instance, when I was, hello, are you there? Hello, are you there?
Yes, I'm there, sir.
So I have some of my students in the past also that I was trying to use what is it called? I was trying to use Jupyter Notebook for them, but the Anaconda did not work on their system. So I now asked them to do what? I asked them to download Visual Studio Code. Then they downloaded it. But I just observed that some things that we do in Jupyter Notebook, those things will not work in their Visual Studio Code, but not like these comments that you're talking about. So let me share you one of my projects in Django so that you will see what I'm talking about. So,
all right.
Where is it? Can you see it? Can you see it?
Wow, that's a lot of.
What do you say?
Yes, I can see that's VS.
Exactly, this is VS Code. So can you see that this thing is working here? From the beginning, can you see Django setting for e-commerce project generated by blah, 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 all those things. They put everything inside that triple quotation. Can you see?
Triple quote. Okay, yes, I'm seeing it. It worked too. Yes, sir.
Of course, it will work. Yeah, it will definitely work. At least once you have Python IntelliSense on your system, that your Visual Studio Code, so that you'll be able to use it to run anything on Python, then it will definitely work. So let's go back to our Jupyter Notebook. So that is how to use this triple quotation. So are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's beautiful. So let's now talk about variables. Let's talk about variables. So, of course, we have different data types in Python. One of them is string. So let me cut this. Let me cut this. I don't want this again. Let me also cut this. Let me also cut this. Now, this is a variable. So variable, we can say variable is just like where we can store, it's just like where we can store, like a place where we can store our values. We can store value in a variable. Are you with me? I wanted to use container, but the reason why I don't want to use container is that when we get to a list, we use list, we define list as a container where we can store many items. Are you with me?
Yes, I'm with you.
So now, look at this. When we are talking about variable, we can store different data types in our variable. Look at this one now. I said name is equal to Kolawole. Because Kolawole is in a string, that means it is str. Str stands for string. X is 32. That means this one is an int. That's an integer. Y is 10.5. Anything decimal. That is a float.
Yeah.
And Z is 3 plus 2J. This is what we call complex. Oh, Emmanuel.
Yes, sir.
Which country are you?
I'm a Nigerian.
Okay, that's good. So which course did you study? Or are you still in school?
That's all I'm done.
Which course?
I studied accounting mainly.
Accounting.
Ibrahim. Yeah, I studied
Have
accounting.
Have you ever done anything like complex number in mathematics before?
Evening, sir. Yes, I guess I did start also. I did statistics. So yes.
Okay, so you know complex number is divided into real and imaginary parts.
Yes, sir.
Like, okay, you are laughing. What happened? Like,
Not sir.
what do you say?
Nothing. Just maths was not really my forte. It was just something I had to pass. Oh, I'm listening.
Okay, so that means you don't really like math like that, Abi.
I don't. I just had to pass it. I don't like
math
it.
is actually cool, though. See, you know, if you want to go for data analysis, you know, you must, in fact, your math must be sound, though. And although it may not necessarily, you may not need cheaply like that, but at least you must understand math, because in data analysis, data science, everything, you'll be dealing with sigmoid function, sigmoid void, sigmoid function rather. You'll be dealing with chi-square. You'll be dealing with linear regression, logistic regression, especially when you get to machine learning algorithms, where you'll be talking about linear regression, logistic regression, k-nearest means, all those things. So, but they are mathematical oriented. Are you with me?
Yes, I'm with you, sir.
So mathematics is also important, especially when you are moving towards data science, data analysis, so machine learning, anything like that. So just have it in mind. Math is very important. So as I was saying, so Z is 3 plus 2J. That J is our iota. In some textbooks, you will see I instead of J. That J means square root of -1. That is an Euler's, we call it Euler, it's a mathematician, Euler's identity. So when you have something like this, that is what we call complex number. All these three types, int, float, and complex, they are under numbers. They are under numbers. So take note of that. So if I say print X now, print Y, print Z. But another thing I can do is, I can also say print X, then print type of X. I want to know the data type of X. I'll just say print type. This type is a method in Python. Print type of X. Then I can say print Y, then print type of Y. Similarly, I can say print Z, then print type of Z. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Good. So if I run this thing now, then let me run this one. Fine. He said X is 32. Then it belongs to the class int. That's an integer. Then it printed 10.5 for Y, and he said it belongs to the class float. And here, said 3 plus 2J, and he said it belongs to the class complex. So that means all these, even interpreter also recognizes all these data types. I think you are with me.
Sir.
All right. Are you also doing what I'm doing? Will I continue?
Yes, I can continue, Sam. Right on track.
All right, that's good. Now, I want you to know that just like what we discussed then, Python is case sensitive. You have to know that. Okay?
Yes, sir.
So now, I want to do something under variable. Okay, before getting here. So I want to do something. Let's say, for instance, if I say x is equal to 5, now x is equal to 8. If I want to print x now, what will it be printed?
It's to print 8 plus 5.
Again, I said x is 5, x is 8. Print x, x.
X. That means it's to print 5 8.
No. It's not 5 8.
So either it prints 13 as the answer, or it prints just one variable of x. Or in fact, let me go try it myself since I have a system.
No, wait.
So
No, don't try.
Don't
Don't scare me, man. Don't try yet. I just want you to guess.
So I gave my best shot, but it was not enough.
Well, it's
okay.
very simple.
According to what? Okay.
It's going to print 8. Let me run it. So do you know why it's giving us 8?
Because 8 is because that should be because of that's the last line of code, I guess.
Exactly. That is the latest value of x. That's what I want to hear. Do you understand now?
Yes, sir.
So let's assume I come here. I say x is equal to 14. What will it be printed?
14.
Good of you, 14. Very good. That means you are getting it. So that means at every point in time, when you have declared, maybe you have assigned a value to a variable. If you now want to change the variable later, it is possible. It's very possible for you to change the variable. You understand me?
Yes, sir.
So take note of that. So that is one. Then another important thing that I want to show you, I will need your attention here. So let's say x is 8, y is equal to 10. Now, I want to print so I want to print x and y. Now look at it very well. Look at it very well. X is what? 5, right?
Yes, sir.
And y is what? 10. And later, I'm changing
10.
x to 8. Now I want to print x. Yes. Not y is equal to 10. Y is equal to x. Yeah, this is what I want to say. Y is equal to x. Now, check it very well, Emmanuel. Don't run it yet. What do you think that is going to print?
I'm not. So okay. Let me break it down the way I understand it.
Okay,
if x is equals to 5.
Okay.
If x is equals to 5 and y is equals to x,
yes,
whereby x is equals to 5, that means y is equal to currently. Then you said then x is equals to 8, and you're printing x and you're printing y.
Yes.
The answer is 8 and 5 now, Abi. Because y is equals to x means y is equals to 5 already, since x is equals to 5.
Yes.
So I am printing x. That means x is 8, y is 5.
Good of you.
If I'm correct.
Exactly. Can you see? Perfect. I love that. So that means x is 8, y is 5.
That was tricky.
Yeah, it's actually it was actually tricky, but it is logical and it's simple. This is what is happening. You know, x is a variable, and we have assigned 5 to that x. That means x is holding 5. Is that not true?
Yes, sir.
Now, the next time now, we are not saying y is equal to x. That means interpreter will go there and check the value that we have assigned to x, and that is 5. We will now assign that 5 to y. So y will now become 5. Then later we are now saying x is equal to 8. That means we are changing the value of x. Changing the value of x, it will not affect y. Y is still holding 5. Do you get it?
Yes, sir.
And that is why it's giving us this very good output. Okay. So Ima, let me now ask you, what of if it is in this way? Let me copy it. Let me create another cell below that. Let me paste it. So now, let me remove this one from here. What of if I say x is equal to 14? I want you to see what is going on here. What will it be printed?
All right. X equals to 5, x equals to 14. 14 is the last interfix for x. Okay, then y is equals to x. That means y is equals to what? 14, which 14 is x. So if you are printing x, that means x is equals to 14, y is equals to 14.
Good of you, exactly. 14, 14. That means before we assign the value of x to y, we have already made changes. We have altered it. We have changed the value of x. It was after that time, we now what? We now assign the value of x to y. So it's very straightforward. That means it's going to give us the same value. I believe you understand that.
Yes, sir.
That's very good. So let me now show you one more thing. Look at this thing. Let's say you want to assign the same value to a variable. I mean, you want to assign the same value to different variables. Like here, I have 3 variables now. So I can say x is equal to y is equal to z is equal to 20. So that means if I say print x, print y, print z, it's going to give me 20, 20, 20. You understand?
Yes, sir.
So it is as simple as that. Okay. Then the next one, look at this one. I want to assign different values to different variables. Instead of me saying, okay, let me show you here. Instead of me saying x is equal to 200, y is equal to 300 on different lines, z is equal to 400. Instead of saying that, I can just come here like this. I will just do it like this, and everything will make sense. I will say x, y, z is equal to 100, 200, 300. Interpreter will do like this. If you say, okay, x, first variable here is x. The first value here is 100. Therefore, it's going to assign 100 to the first variable here. The second variable is y. Second value is 200. It's going to assign this 200 to second variable. And similarly, 300 to third variable, which is z. When you say print x, y, z, you are going to have 100, 200, and 300. I hope I am communicating.
Yes, sir.
So I think we have done a little bit stuff. So whosoever that wants to join the class later, we just ask them to come and check this. So of course, this thing, since this thing also will be uploaded on the YouTube, so on the YouTube channel, so we go through it so that we not go back in the next class. We don't have any reason to go back, so we'll be able to continue from where we stop. So what have we discussed today? We discussed about Python, so different areas of applications of Python. Then we discussed about the syntax. In fact, we talked about different IDEs like PyCharm, Visual Studio Code, Jupyter Notebook, True, Anaconda. Even we can use Spider, we can use Sublime Text. Even all these Eclipse, IntelliJ, we can use all those things also, provided we know how to do our setup there. So we can use all these things. We now start our Python fully. We said Python is what? It's a high-level object-oriented programming. We said it's an interpreted language. Then we start with syntax. So start from here, print hello, my students, how are you? And it gets printed because this one is a string. Interpreter will see it as a string. So we move on to another thing, comment. Maybe you don't want to execute some code. You don't want some code to be executed. You can put hashtag there to show that that is a comment. Then we move on to another way of creating comment by using this inverted comma, this triple quotation. And this one also makes sense. Then after that, we move on to variables. So next time, we are going to do naming convention. So we teach you different ways, different wrong ways that people can define variables that interpreter will not accept, that to reject it, and different ways of defining variables in correct way using convention, using programming convention. So we start from that next time. So here we discuss with different data types: str, that's string; int, float, that's decimal; then complex, anything like this, that's a complex number. And three of them, int, float, and complex, I told you they are under numbers as a data type. Then we printed everything, and we printed the data type of each of those variables. And the interpreter gave us that. Then we move on to how you can assign different variables different values to the same variable. So an interpreter will see the latest value of that variable. That is what interpreter will recognize. And you see, this is what we call swapping. This is what we call swapping. This is what we call swapping. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Then we move on to this. Then we move on to different way of assigning the same value to different variables like this, which is very simple. And finally, we talked about how you can assign different values to different variables on a single line. So I think Emmanuel, I think you have enjoyed today's class.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so God willing, we meet in the next class. But what happens is that I'm going to put it on the group. Our next class will be tomorrow, Thursday. So I'll be meeting you Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, because Friday I'll be having some meeting, some online meeting between 7 and 10 in the night. So I will not be having time, but Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, by God grace, we'll be meeting. That means our next class is tomorrow by 7:30. Yeah, the exact same time that we started the class today. So please make sure you practice everything you have done. So we meet in the next class by God grace. Take care of yourself. Happy coding. Enjoy your day.
You too, sir.
All right.